Studio. Check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
Oh, it's Friday, guys. Good morning to you. We are the SBTV Nation. We are the It Factor. Having an absolute blast. Getting ready for the weekend. Football is here, and I'm talking to my man, A Dream. Kid, what's up?
Just hearing that beat right there lets you know that hip-hop is no longer being played in the White House.
You don't think the Don is playing a little hip-hop?
Home Alabama is the same song popping off right now at the White House with a splash of some Garth Brooks or I don't know, something, Kenny Chesney.
Right on. Well, he plays a bunch of these inspirational America songs when he goes up and does his speeches and all that. So, hey, it's all good, man. So he got to meet with President Obama, and hey, Dream, that must have been a little bit of an awkward meeting, don't you think?
It was probably a lot like Dwayne Wade coming into Miami last night to play the Heat.
Yeah, right on. Well, D. Wade and the Bulls got it done.
D. Wade and the Bulls did get it done. But back to the election. You know what? We never discussed this yesterday. Like, why is it so difficult to vote?
I got to be honest with you. I went in, I want to say it was around 10:30 in the morning. And I walked in to my town hall down the street. I registered and voted within 5 minutes. I got it all done, like within literally 5 minutes, in and out.
Now, generally in Connecticut, I don't know of us having a problem as far as voting is concerned in Connecticut, but this election was the first time, a TV at night, there was a lot of problems in other cities with the voting. Now, I didn't have any problem, voting where I vote. I didn't need to register. I'm already a registered voter. I've voted like a billion times, whatever. And it wasn't that big of an issue. But still, even when I went to vote, I had to say to myself, this system, it's like there's got to be a better way.
I don't know.
It's still like 1918, it feels like. You got to go in, you got to get the card, you circle a thing off, or you mark it off with the thing, then you throw it. Like, there's no better way than that.
I don't know. I'm sure they've been trying to figure it out for quite some time, but it's just kind of difficult because, they're so careful on the results not getting skewed.
Right.
Maybe somebody could hack the system or something crazy. You just never know, Dream. So that might be the best foolproof way to do it. I could be wrong, but I mean that's the way it's looking right now.
And then in other places, dude, there were just lines and people couldn't vote. And in Florida, you always got an issue out there every time there's an election.
Of course.
I just don't. I just feel like there should be, in this day and age with the technology we have, there should be a better way to vote. But then once again, you worry about fraud.
Exactly. Right on.
Anybody got any ideas about how to change the vote, make the process better?
Let us know so we can lead the charge.
Man, because I've thought about, generally, I got an opinion on everything, and generally I have been able to figure out some system that I think is at least remotely better, and I have drawn a blank.
Yeah, right. Me too.
With this one, unless they give you. Here's the only idea that I could think of. When you register to vote, you would get a number.
Okay.
All right. So now that would be my number. Maybe you just use your social security number. I'm not sure, but you would get a number, and then you would have to input that number in. Like they'd have like a centralized. Each state would have a centralized, voting number or something like that, and you could actually vote from your phone.
Oh, wow. I don't know how they'd be able to do that, but I get what you're saying.
You go there, you take your phone, like a text or something, you punch in your number for the vote, and then send your vote in via that way. And I just don't know if they'd be, but each person would have their own individualized number, and if the number didn't correspond, they wouldn't be able to vote.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're unregistered or that, then you still have to go to the polls or you have to go down there. Give me thoughts on what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, well, you got 4 years to wait until they do it again. So maybe in the next 4 years they'll figure out something to kind of simplify the process, make it a little easier. So moving on here from Politics Dream, let's have a conversation about the home team underdog on primetime as the Dukies win the game outright. And you and I were both on them.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And you know what? Hey, if you were on a money line situation, you were plus 340 on that. So congratulations to everybody that got involved in that one. And Dream, that line went up to 11.5 points before kickoff.
No doubt.
And you know what? I was watching it, and I saw Duke just kind of being a pain in the ass. Tying the game. And North Carolina kept coming down and kicking field goals. And the Dukies were scoring touchdowns. And you know what? At the end of the day, North Carolina fell short. Number 17 going into the Duke Blue Devils, and the Duke Blue Devils get it done.
North Carolina, though, they started off fast.
Yep.
And it seemed like they lost steam, especially in that second quarter all of a sudden. And then Duke seemed to get it going in the second where it looked like it was about to head into a blowout at the beginning of the game. And then, it actually turned into being a little bit on the competitive side. I mean, I would have liked to see a little bit more points scored in the fourth quarter because there were none. Yep. But outside of that, I thought it was going to be – there was 2 times I thought North Carolina was going to capitalize and get a good drive going in that second half. Whatever the Duke's halftime adjustments were –
yeah.
In that second half, look at T-Max, a basketball season starts. Whatever Duke's second half adjustments were – defensively, from a defensive standpoint, they were right on point as far as shutting down Trubinsky and stopping him from doing what he wanted to do. So hats off to their coaching staff because they definitely showed, some integrity and some experience and just stopping down what North Carolina wanted to do in the second half.
Absolutely. So moving on to the other game in the pack, the Utah Utes were struggling for a little while at Arizona State. And ended up laying the smackdown towards the end of the game, Dream. They won by 23 points.
Yeah, I liked Utah yesterday. It was, I told you I had some faith in Utah. I liked them against UCLA. I took them, and I didn't take them last night, but I did like them last night. And they were, they laid the smackdown at the end of that game. Started off a little rough, looked a little bit crazy. They let Arizona get out to that big, not a big lead, but 13-0. Yeah. And then they started pouring it on in the second quarter. And in the fourth quarter, they went into drubbing mode and took that thing way out of range.
Did they score defensively towards the end? Because they scored awfully fast.
Yeah.
Because, when you look at it, and when I went to sleep, it was 28-26.
Right.
So that's 3 touchdowns that I'm not accounted for because I was sleeping at that point. That game went on late.
It went on late. For Thursday night, it doesn't, because they got 3 games running. I guess they're attempting to spread them out so people can catch a little bit of all the ones that they want. Utah did have an interception for a touchdown.
Okay.
That allowed it for one of their scorers. I know they got a fumble too, but I don't think they scored with the fumble. They did get a fumble, and they did. I don't think they scored a touchdown on the fumble, but they did get a fumble.
Oh, got it. All right. So moving on here. Speaking of football, let's have a conversation about the 0-10 Cleveland Browns, Dream. Brutal. You know what? They were actually fighting in this game, and you want to talk about second half adjustments? The Baltimore Ravens clearly had it. And you know what? They were down 7-6 at the half and scored 22 unanswered points in the second half and got the job done. And Cleveland, wow, can you imagine just being a part of this organization right now?
I can not imagine being a part of this organization. However, they should be very comfortable where they're at because that's where they I know they've been better in the past than this, but they just haven't been a good team, and that's just a resounding theme with this team. Unfortunately, I don't understand why they can't, get it going per se. I think though, if you take a close look at some of their moves as far as, who they've gone after and who they've picked up in the additions to this team and what they've done, I think you could scratch your head and you could point to a couple of spots that, a couple of people that they brought in that you said, you knew this wasn't going to work.
Well, RG3 went down.
I do.
So that was a big lift for them. They really felt that they had a chance of winning with him. And obviously, I mean, this man is just completely injury prone. Very similar to like a D Rose or, some of these other players like a Tony Romo, stuff like that. But, it's too bad because now, I mean, this team is 0-10.
But my thing is, hold on, let me just stop you there because my thing is this. Okay, so you stink. You got a history of stinking. Okay,
yep.
So you're gonna take a chance on RG Thrizzle.
I understand.
That's what I'm saying about just like dumb stuff that Cleveland does.
Yep.
That's like, look, I'd have been like, when they said, hey, we want to take RG, I'd have been like, hey, look, guys, like, really, can we just maybe not try to get a guy that maybe is going to be, injured? This guy's got a history of being injured. Let's just try to go get somebody that's not injured that much.
Right on. I agree with you. So the Baltimore Ravens are in first place, Dream.
Baltimore Ravens are in first place. Crazy that the NFL is right now, and I still, I'm going to get off the beat a little bit with the Ravens because I'm going to talk about the Steelers. I don't understand what happened to the Steelers. I mean, I do get that Big Ben, was injured, didn't look good in his return, but I just don't understand how the Steelers fell from grace so quickly. I mean, they have all that offense, and now, like you said, Baltimore is winning the division, and Baltimore also has now beat the Steelers in the division.
Well, I can tell you this much, that it's the fact that Pittsburgh can't play on the road. That's their Achilles heel. And obviously, Big Ben's been banged up a little bit and whatnot, but I got news for you, Dream. They get to play at Heinz Field this week, and guess who's coming into town?
No doubt.
Jerry Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and the bunch as Dallas Cowboys are coming into town. I got news for you. I have a feeling that Pittsburgh's going to lay the smackdown on them.
We will have the conversation on Sunday as far as the smackdown.
I'm just putting it out there right now. I thought about it, and somebody had mentioned the matchup to me last night, and I say, oh, here's the loss. Here it comes.
It's one of those tricky setup-ishy looking games.
Setup-ishy.
But I don't know.
You don't think so, huh?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a hard call to make. I don't know.
That's going to be interesting. So, hey, it is what it is. And Tony Romo is unlikely to be active in this game. So they're going to stick with Mr. Prescott over there. 7 wins in a row, Dream. You got to
I know. And I Cowboy fans want Dak to play, so let him play. But I still feel like, and I know you don't agree, already been said, but I feel like their best situation is Tony Romo.
Well, let's look at I don't have it in front of me, but if you just kind of break down the ratio from touchdowns to interceptions and look at, just take Romo's last 8 games, compare it to Dak, who's got a better conversion rate as far as completions and touchdowns and interceptions? You got to look at that. Because Romo pretty much had the same offensive line, but he did not have the firepower of Zeke in the backfield either. So, but I don't know, man. I think you keep him in, Dre.
Yeah, no, I know you do. So, listen, that's what Cowboy fans want. So leave him in. But I do think that if you plan on going to the playoffs and you want to go far into the playoffs, you're going to need veteran leadership to get to do that for you. And I think that Tony Romo, I still think he's the way to go. But they're in a great situation because they can leave him, let him sit. You know what I mean? I mean, they're in a great situation. You can let him sit and then put him in later. There's no rush. You can play them both. But I do think at some point you need to go back to Romo for now. That's just my opinion, though.
Well, if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, if it ended today, they would be the number 1 seed in the NFC. And the road to the Super Bowl would go through Jerry's world, Dream.
And Dallas, I know you guys are screaming and yelling, and I know you guys haven't had a good team in forever, and now it's on, and you know how Dallas fans act whenever you're good. You're not that good, though. The Dallas Cowboys are not as good as that record.
You know what? I've watched them a lot now.
Yep.
And obviously, I mean, we've talked about the offensive line. We could beat that to death. I mean, realistically, they are very good, probably the best in the game. And, you do have a dynamic running back in Zeke. And Dak doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but I think they have a pretty good leash on him. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're putting him in situations to make mistakes.
Can't get the ball down the field.
The defense is mediocre. We know that. And I just don't know if the level of competition, I mean, they did win in Green Bay, so I got to give them a nod on that. But go into Pittsburgh this week and win. You don't even need to win convincingly. Go in there and win. Then we can have a better conversation. That would put them at 8-1.
I just feel like even if they go into Pittsburgh and win, and even if they win and have a successful season, it's one of those situations where I can just see them in the playoffs, going in a lot like Arizona last year.
Okay.
A lot like Arizona, where you think you got this juggernaut team, going into the playoffs. They look really solid. They look really strong. And then out of nowhere, they get sideswiped by another team, and you're like, what happened? I didn't see that coming, kind of thing. I just think I don't know. It's something about the way they're doing it. First of all, I find there is an inability to get the ball. It seems like Dak has an inability to get the ball downfield consistently. Okay.
Yep.
And as far as utilizing throwing the ball, I do know the run game is positive, and I've talked about if you have a good run game, the run will open up the pass and you can get successful. Sure. So that is a bright spot that I'm not going to take anything away from them with. But I think this team playing from behind, even though I did see it in Philly, but it still wasn't quite the way I wanted it. I don't know. It's something about them I just don't trust still.
I don't either. I don't think they're there yet. Now, I can tell you this much, that they have not spent, as far as I know that they've got some money to spend in the next couple of years. You already got the offensive line. You've clearly got a couple of offensive players that are dazzling you as far as Zeke and even Dak.
Right.
They're going to start building this defense in the next few years.
Right.
This team, maybe 2018, even next year, 2019. Now this team can be a conversation piece as far as a possible Super Bowl contender. They're there, Dream, but I don't think it's this year. And you know what? And just because of inexperience, and I got to be honest with you, that's the same way I feel. And I know they're the defending national champions of college football, and I know they're playing at an ultimately high level. I just don't know if Jalen Hurts and the Alabama Crimson Tide are going to get it done this year. I really don't think so. I don't think they're going to repeat. I think somebody's going to knock them off. I really do. Sounds crazy, but I think next year is going to be their year. I think they're going to get into playoff and get knocked off by somebody like a Michigan or a Clemson or something like that, Dream. Just talking about it, inexperience, guys. That's how I feel.
Right.
And I've been watching sports for a long time, and I've seen it time and time again. I can give you plenty of examples on that. So, anyway, Dream, what do you want to move on to next?
Well, we can talk about Mr. Wade going back to Miami.
Yes.
Which was pretty good for him. He got a standing ovation,
right.
but then did one of his ticky-tack foul moves at the end of the game. I don't know if you picked that up.
I did not. I didn't see any of the game, to be honest with you. I just saw the highlights.
They got an Oscar last night with that little booty foul that they called. They ended up winning the game by 3 points, and it was a little bit funny that that's how it was because the Miami fans happened to start booing at that point. They were like, first they gave him a standing ovation. At the end of the game, they were booing him when he was on the line shooting his free throws.
Nice.
But they go into Miami and get it done. He beats his old team. Just a very... I guess they're saying that it was kind of a weird situation. I didn't see much of it. I saw a little bit of it, saw most of the highlights in the recap that was going on. Need to talk about the Lakers for a minute.
Yeah.
Lakers are doing their thing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They've got 5 wins. All right. Last season, they didn't have that until December 22nd.
Wow.
So at least they're getting their groove
Wow.
on, playing a lot better. Beat the Kings last night, 101-91. Randall had a pretty good game as far as points and rebounding. They're playing pretty good as a cohesive unit right now.
Sure thing, man. So, hey, you know what? Maybe they'll be a 500 team. I mean, I think in the Western Conference, you got so many teams that'll be above 500 that it's going to be tough to make the playoffs if you're somewhere around that 500 mark. you got to be, I'd say, maybe 5 games over, something like that. So do you think the Lake Show has the potential to do it, Dream?
I don't know.
Too early to tell?
Too early to tell right now, yes. Definitely too early to tell. We'll have to take a look and see as the season moves on.
All right, sounds good, guys. So got a lot of people here, Dream, loving the fact that college basketball is getting ready to tip off. And my man Fast Eddie sent me the picture of the old man with the Yale sweatshirt on. I don't see Yale playing, though, here for a little bit. I looked at the schedule. Obviously, everybody knows what Yale did last year, and they had an amazing, amazing season last year. And Makai Mason's going to be back, Dream. So I'm looking forward to going. You going to come with me to some of them games?
Oh, yeah, because the kids loved it. My kids loved going to those games. So I definitely a spot to do with them, to take them on a Friday. Definitely something to do. They absolutely loved going to those games.
Oh,
dude,
definitely.
I still hear about Yale playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, not playing right now. But, yeah, they absolutely loved going to those games.
Oh, they're going to play at Washington on Sunday.
Okay.
So that's something. And Dream, you know what? There are no lines at all that I can find as far as point spreads or totals yet on any of these games. Even tonight's games, I don't see any.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you see it on your board, but I am not seeing any lines right now. But I can tell you that there's a couple of decent matchups going on today, and this is the first day of college basketball, guys. And if you look at the card, there is a plethora of them. And just scrolling down here, I've seen a couple of them that were that looked halfway decent. So I'm just trying to pull them up. You got Michigan State going into Arizona tonight, so that should be interesting. You got Indiana and Kansas playing. No Perry Ellis anymore. And you've got, let's see. Whoa, that does not sound good. My man's going to have to call me back. That's Tiger Clinch trying to call, Dream.
Oh.
He's going to have to call me back. I don't know what that was. Maybe he's calling on a radio or something like that. But, and a couple of other things here I'm looking at as far as key matchups are concerned. I rattled off those two, and I don't see any other real big marquee matchups except for those two, unless you see anything on your board.
Clemson squaring off against Georgia. That should be an interesting matchup to get an idea of what Georgia looks like this season.
Yeah, no doubt.
I do have a couple of lines. I'm interested. Alabama's playing Coastal Carolina. Alabama last year was a decent team. Pitt squaring off against Eastern Michigan. There's some, LaSalle Temple's going to be a really good game.
Okay.
LaSalle Temple should be an excellent game. In fact, I'm looking kind of forward to that. A lot of stuff's going to be good out there. Listen, I'm not jumping in the game yet. You guys, listen. Some of you guys, you're never you got one of them. You're never satisfied kind of situations. All baseball season you wanted football. Then once football started, you were looking at basketball. Then basketball, came. Now you wanted a little bit of hockey splashed in there. Then hockey wasn't working for you, so now you're at college hoop. Dude, learn to have a little bit of satisfaction in your life.
Exactly, because you know what? You never know what you're going to get out of these kids.
No,
I mean, you could look at a team like Kansas that was juggernaut last year that could be booty this year. You just don't know. So you're going to have to – I'm going to tell you right now, though, same rule applies as far as home team dogs. You know what? We've seen them time and time again. Last year, I mean, there are a ton of them. I'm talking like 13, 14-point underdogs at home that were winning the games on the court, guys. There's a lot of value, especially in collegiate sports, whether it's football or basketball. Dream, we've seen it. It's been coming to form a lot. So that's something to take a look at, guys. So just be careful if you're taking a stellar team that you think is the superior team. They could be superior on paper, but go into a hostile environment and lose on the court, especially if it's right smack in the middle of the week. I believe, Dream, that we have our guest on the line.
No.
And I believe that it is Tiger Clinch to talk about some MMAs. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, gentlemen? Good morning.
How you doing, man?
Doing great. How about yourself?
We're good. We're good. We're getting ready for fight nights.
See what's going on, man.
Oh, it's great. Hey, how's it going, Dream?
Before we start the UFC, talk to your boy about Pacquiao Mayweather too.
Oh, God. How about we don't talk about Pacquiao Mayweather, too?
Come on, baby boy.
We want to see a snooze fest. We could talk about watching some Pacquiao and Mayweather. That could be another snooze fest.
The whole country's waiting for Pacquiao Mayweather too. I called it back when they had Pacquiao Mayweather 1.
Yep.
Listen, for some reason I feel like this one's not going to be a snooze fest.
It's going to be a snooze fest. And the only country waiting for that fight is the Philippines.
No, trust me. The United States is waiting for that fight too.
Yeah, they are. And then you know what? Then if Mayweather seems to lose, you're going to have number 3.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but let's just hope they don't do that to us, man. I'm not trying to pay another like $70 for just a sparring session.
There you go. All right, my man. So let's talk, because you've been on fire as far as the fights are concerned. So I'd like to hear what you got to say, because not only do we have basketball, football, hockey, everything going on, we also have fighting going on. So where can we make some money with you?
Yeah, it's going to be a great event, guys. Tomorrow is the very first event in New York City since it's been legalized, and it's just, they stacked this card up. Any fight you see on this card could be a co-main event, a featured fight, or it could headline any event. It's just stacked. And we had another incident with our boy Conor McGregor yesterday with some chairs being thrown. So that's going to add a little fuel to the fire as well.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys saw that. I think I sent a video to Dream, but I don't know if you saw it. Just they were at the media event, and Conor goes ahead and grabs the champ's belt and puts it in front of his belt, and then the champ comes up and snatches the belt, and they get into an altercation, and the champ just throws a chair at Conor. It was hilarious.
I did not see that, so I'm going to have to look at that after the show for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's something to take a look at, man. But it's going to be a good event, man. They have a lot of good fighters, and they have, as a matter of fact, they have 3 belts on the line this weekend, which is great. And it's all killers from top to bottom. And that's kind of what I want to cover. I just want to cover the 3 main title fights and maybe one title implication fight, which is Chris Weidman and Joel Romero fight.
Okay, what do you got?
Go ahead. Yeah, so let me start off with Chris Weidman and Joel Romero. Joel Romero is a power hitter, man. He has great boxing. It's improved a lot since his days in Strikeforce. He's an Olympic wrestler from Cuba. The only knock on him is his gas tank. He tends to gas after like the first round or like halfway to the second round. So he'll give you his best in the first round, but he still has that power. He can put you to sleep at any time during a fight, but he just tires out real quick. And there's a lot of controversy behind him right now, because a lot of people didn't like what he did with Tim Kennedy about a fight or 2 ago. First, he was grabbing onto the fence a lot when Tim Kennedy was trying to take him down, and he was warned plenty of times, no points taken away from him. And then I believe it was in the 3rd round, going into the 3rd round, he literally spent like 2 minutes at his corner, and they used the excuse of them not understanding or speaking any English to get the stool out of the corner, and it gave him an extra minute of rest time after he had just gotten blasted the last minute of the round. He was pretty much on Queer Street, and they were trying to help him recover. So there's a lot of controversy with that. But I think that, and also he got popped for steroids, but they said there was something in his supplements that he had gotten that he know about, but that's neither here nor there. But it put a sour taste in people's mouth. And I think this fight with Chris Weidman's going to say a lot. If he can make it through the fight with Chris Weidman, he might be getting the next title fight at middleweight. But Chris Weidman is the next champ, and this kid's a beast. He has a lot of heart and a lot of fight in him. I feel that he's a stronger wrestler as far as MMA, because Olympic wrestling and MMA wrestling is completely different than each other. And I think that Chris Weidman is going to be able to put a beating on him. I think he's going to be able to wait him out and let him get tired. I think he'll let him blow his wad in the first round. I think he'll be in a couple of difficult situations in the beginning of the first round. But I think Chris Weidman, once the second round starts, he'll be able to amp up the speed and be able to get Romero out late in the second round or mid-third round. I think that it's Chris Weidman's fight to lose, and he's at home. He's a home fighter in New York, so I think he'll be able to win that fight convincingly.
All right, sounds good. He's minus 180 on my board right now.
Yeah, he is the favorite, and there's a reason why he's not any higher. Is just because Joe Romero could put your lights out at any time.
All right.
That's the only reason that he's not any higher.
All right, sounds good. What do you got next?
The next fight I got is the very first title on the card, and it's between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Karolina Kowalkiewicz, two Polish fighters that are phenomenal kickboxers, man. You guys want to watch a great kickboxing fight? Tune into this fight. They are going to just go blow for blow. You've never seen two girls just want to go out there and just beat the snot out of each other. Maybe like a year ago, Karolina Kowalkiewicz was ranked number 1 in the world, and she was out of Poland. And Joanna took offense to that. So she literally went to Dana White and said, look, I want you to sign this girl, bring her in, give her a few fights, and then give her a title fight because I want to put a beating on this girl. And remind the world who the real number 1 fighter in the world is right now. And so they did it. And this girl, KK, beat all her opponents, and now it's a title fight. And Joanna's been waiting for this for a long time right now. And I think it's going to be a good time, man. KK is a beast. She is cool as a cucumber in that cage. Blow. She's good at kickboxing. She's had a couple titles as a kickboxer, and she's not afraid to duke it out. She had a real good fight last time against Rose Namajunas. She lost the first round, but she turned it up in the second round, and she noticed that Rose was gassing. So once she noticed that Rose was gassing, she turned it up, and she was just kept lighting her up. It was Rose's fight to lose, and she lost it. And KK looked phenomenal. And Joanna is the defending champion right now, and she doesn't look like she's like slowing down at all. Every time you see that girl go in there, she improves and gets better every single time. And she has put a beating on every single girl she's fought in that cage. She just keeps improving, man. This is the kind of fighter that you like to see because you never know what you're going to get with her every time she steps into the cage. And whenever you see her, and she just keeps getting better, your mind is just blown. Her technicality, her speed, her accuracy, anything you could think about as far as kickboxing and boxing, she improves on it every single time she comes into the cage. So this is one of those fights you cannot miss. It's going to be fireworks, guys.
Wow, she's minus 410, so she's heavily favored. And yeah, they're calling this to be a long fight as the under-over is 4.5.
Yeah, it's because none of them have been finished. And but another thing is that KK has never been in the situation that she is now with a fighter that could actually duke it out with her and put her lights out. Joanna has speed, but she could put your lights out. So I think that it'll go. There's a huge chance it'll go to the decision, but it wouldn't hurt to take a swing at the under because it's a lot of rounds. And KK hasn't fought somebody with the accuracy and the speed and the power that Joanna has. So take a look at it, guys. Don't go crazy on it, but it is a good shot to take at the under.
Yeah, and the under is plus 160, Dream.
Okay.
So under 4.5 plus 160, that might be the move because I mean all you need is one shot to kind of, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so when I see those high totals, I kind of like jumping on those, to be honest with you. But all right, cool deal. Madison Square Garden is this one.
Oh, go ahead.
This one's in Madison Square Garden, Dream.
Yep.
Should have got a ticket for this. I would have loved to have went to this, but I didn't realize it was coming this fast. But I'm glad that we're breaking this thing down, man, because you know what? I'll definitely be watching this tomorrow night. What's the next one you got?
If there's any event you got to watch, it's this one. I'm telling you, it is stacked.
All right, fantastic. So
Our next fight is going to be Tyron Woodley against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This fight is going to be another great fight. I feel that the champ has been overlooked for a very long time, even by myself because of what he showed me in Strikeforce. He has awesome power, but he has a problem of just gassing. He's very good. He's very technical, and he likes to play the counter game. And I think this opponent was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has this Taekwondo karate style, which has worked phenomenal for him. If you guys have not seen his knockout reel, check it out. Head kicks galore, and his technicality is awesome. He knows how to use his reach. He knows how to use his kicks, and he likes to stay at his range. He doesn't play your game. He plays his. He's lost only to one fighter, and that's Matt Brown, and that's because Matt Brown fought the pressure to him, and he was also still very green at that time, and I feel that that's what Tyron Woodley needs to do to win this fight. He needs to bring the pressure. My problem with Tyron Woodley is he going to gas once he goes into deeper rounds, or is he going to be able to put the pressure, if he does put the pressure for 5 straight rounds, or finish him early, because Stephen Wonderboy Thompson knows how to use that distance. His play background helps. And he's very technical, and he doesn't make too many mistakes. So that's another thing that I like about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He knows the framework to move, how to move, and I think it's Taekwondo background that's helped him a lot with that. And I think that this fight will go the distance. I don't know if it'll finish as a decision, because I feel that one of them is going to get caught. I think one of them will get caught, but it's going to be late in the fight. I feel that we still have a lot of questions about Tyron Woodley's cardio, because he hasn't fought anybody that has pressured him and has made him move a lot in the cage. He's usually been in and out of that cage. The only person that he's ever done business with was Kevin Gastelum, who was on this card too against your boy Cowboy, and he won that by split decision. So there's still a lot of questions about Tyron Woodley's cardio. We'll have to wait and see. He hasn't gone that far because of his power. But I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is the guy to take him deep into it.
All right.
I feel the deeper this gets, the better it is for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And I'm taking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on this one, too.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's minus 200, and the under-over on that one is 2.5. So, yeah. All right, man. So,
yeah, and with sorry about that.
No problem.
As far as that line, guys, be very careful. I don't think he should be that big of a favorite. It should be a 150 or lower as far as favorite. Because don't get me wrong, Tyron Woodley's not. He has his issues, but he can put your lights out in like 2 seconds.
Right.
So be careful with that, guys. Don't just because Vegas is saying, oh, he's gonna be he's a heavy favorite. Just go with the favorite. No, be careful with that line. That line, I feel, it's way too big on Wonderboy's side.
Got it. Okay. Well, we got to talk about the big one. We got to talk about Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez. Tomorrow night, the last match on the card. Talk to me, brother.
Yes, this last fight, oh my God, this is going to be a great fight. Both guys come in to bang. Eddie Alvarez is in this sport because he loves to fight. He loves to fight, and that is it. He doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about the fame. He loves this sport. He trains to get better because he loves this sport. Conor's in the sport for the money. Yes, he loves the sport, but mostly it's the money. So it's the new school versus the old school. They call Eddie Alvarez the king of the underground because he came up in the underground circuit. He was with Bodog. He was champ at Bodog. Yeah, Bodog actually had a fighting organization back in the days. He was with Dream. He fought with Pride. He fought in Strikeforce for a bit. He's been and he was also in Bellator. So in pretty much every single organization he's been in, he had a title fight. He had a title belt. And I think the only one that he didn't have a belt in was Strikeforce, but that's because he left for Dream, I believe. But this guy's a beast. This guy's a monster. He's improved a lot since I last saw him out of the organization. Every fight, he's gotten better and better. I feel that this fight's going to be Conor McGregor's toughest fight because Eddie Alvarez has the heart and the skill to take this fight to Conor. So if anything, I think this fight is Eddie Alvarez's fight to lose. I feel that everybody's just overlooking Eddie Alvarez. He's really good, and he's very sneaky. He has very sneaky power, and I feel that this might be a real tough fight for Conor. So I know Conor's the favorite in this fight, and I know there's a reason why he's a favorite. But guys, be very careful with this fight because Eddie Alvarez could wrestle and he could take punches. He's gone the distance. He tends to get rocked in the first couple rounds, and then he turns it up later on when his opponents get tired or they just can't figure him out anymore. Or they lose motivation because this guy doesn't go out. And I think that Conor's gonna come in and he's gonna do the same plan. He's gonna wait it out a little bit, see what Eddie does, move around, counter, land his big shots. But he needs to stay focused. He cannot lose focus in this fight with Eddie. Eddie's good. Eddie has power. Eddie is patient. And I think that Conor needs to learn that too. He needs to be a little bit more patient. Just don't throw everything behind your punches. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, he just beat Nick Diaz at a higher weight class. It should be an easier fight for him. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Sometimes you're a good fighter and you're just a better fighter than a certain fighter. And there's fighters that come in and you just can't figure out very well. And I think Eddie's one of those. I think you need to be patient with Eddie. You need to pick your shots and be careful. I think Conor could take this. For a very long time, ever since they announced this fight, I've been going with Eddie. I said Eddie's going to win this fight. But I've changed my mind, and I think I'm going to get Conor for this. I think Conor is going to be the first one to hold 2 titles in 2 different divisions. He will have to give up his 145 belt because he can't make that weight anymore. So I think this is why I think Conor's going to go in here and win this fight, because Conor knows he can't make that weight anymore, so he needs to win this belt in order to stay at 155. I think Conor has a real good chance of winning this fight. I feel like he's worked on his takedown defense enough. It's been over a year now or more that he's been working on this in jiu-jitsu as well. And I think that whatever Eddie throws at him, I think he'll be able to not stuff it completely, but be able to put up a fight and take this. I don't think he'll knock him out. If anything, it'll be a decision, and it'll be a close decision. It won't be an easy fight for Conor. And if he loses, it wouldn't surprise me, because Eddie is a really, really good guy.
All right, and he got the total at 1.5 rounds. So if you were to go over, it's minus 170. So
I think it's going to go over.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to go over. I don't think it's going to be someone's early night. I think it's going to go over 1.5.
All right.
I'm also 100% sure.
Guys, you're listening to our boy Tiger Clinch, who is ripping it up as always. And UFC 205 is tomorrow night at MSG. So, Tiger, real quick, Dream, you have any questions for him?
Not really. I'm just taking it all in, listening to what he's got to say. Obviously, respect his opinion. This Alvarez fight is very interesting, and I happen to think I like Alvarez.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you, Dream. I wouldn't. Like I said, since they announced this fight, I was like, oh, this is Conor's fight to lose. But what I take into consideration is that he's had trouble making that 145 weight again. So
right.
if he wants to stay relevant, he needs that 155 title so he could let go of that 145.
Yeah, I always have trouble, one, with the space in between these fights. I've struggled with it. And then trying to make these weight classes it's even more of a challenging situation, especially to your body over a course of time. And I feel like Eddie's probably going to be just a little bit fresher than Conor for this particular matchup. I don't know why, but I like, for some reason, I do like Eddie Alvarez. But we'll see. Still got to make up my mind. I'll probably make the final decision tomorrow, so we can discuss. I'll discuss it with the nation tomorrow as far as what I'm going to do. But right now, I'm leaning Eddie Alvarez.
All right. Tiger Clinch, tell everybody where to find you, my man.
And whoever wants to get some more info, I'm at Tiger Clinch MMA on Twitter. I'm more than happy to help anybody that needs help. Any questions, feel free to ask, and answer them. I've had a couple people follow me since the get-go. Fast Eddie is one of them. I want to thank him for his support. Always been with me. If you guys have any questions and doubt my numbers, you could ask that guy. He's been with me since the beginning. And I've been doing very well in the last few events. We can't win them all. There's been some ugly ones, but I feel that the ugly ones are the same ones that everybody has. So I feel that my picks are very strong. And you guys have had me on the podcast a few times already, and I know that you guys wouldn't have me on here if you guys didn't believe in me, and I thank you for that. You guys are awesome, and thank you for support, and thank you for having me on, guys. I know it's an honor to be on this show, so thank you.
All right, brother. Sounds good. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
All right, have a good one. All right, Dream.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's always rocking, man.
Oh, definitely. The information is absolutely stellar. And you listen, do it all every week, sends me the card. And it's like how he keeps up with it. I mean, I can get how he can keep up with it because how I keep up with football. But still, how he keeps up with it in every event. And UFC, I just hate their scheduling, though. I just hate the way every time I turn around, there's a UFC fight.
That's because there's so many fighters, bro.
I know, but my thing is, dude, just they've got to come up with a better system.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, listen, you know what? They're doing pretty damn well considering the fact that they sold it for however many $billion, Dream. So I mean,
know. It's funny that you say that because I guess maybe you're right, but I just feel like, don't you feel like nobody, like, don't you feel like some people are paying attention, but
No, I think they've got a very, very solid following. And I got to be honest with you, they do just as much as the WWE. And you know what? They just have their followings. And you know what? People will pay money to see these fights every month.
right.
It is what it is, Dream.
I'm not debating that, but I'm saying they have their following, but it's like, I don't know. It's like not a national audience though. Like they don't have like they'll never. And I know Pacquiao Mayweather is just, it's hard to compare that because it's a super fight. But like UFC super fight is still, it's like nothing compared to a regular boxing super fight. And boxing is not even close to as organized as UFC is. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I got the idea. Like you're saying that the buzz about it, like
right, like everybody shutting down. Like remember when Mike Tyson fought, like Conor McGregor? I'm going to equivalent him slightly to Mike Tyson, but remember when Mike Tyson fought? Everything shut down. Everybody had parties at the crib. Like I don't see things. I don't see the UFC
because there's so many of them.
Exactly.
There's so many of them.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get it. All right. I understand where you're going with that. So maybe they should just do like how WWE does like the WrestleMania, for instance.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like you have your mega show. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, like maybe like 4th of July weekend or something like that. You know, something just kick ass and major. And you know, but hey, Dream, listen, they're a very successful organization. They are billionaires. So you know what? They're doing something right. So, you know, hey, maybe it's a little something they've thought about in the past. But
the thing, dude, is I just don't, these guys, I don't know how they fight in such a short time period. You know, it's like they fight, you know, today.
Well, it depends on how they do. I mean, if you go in there and in 30 seconds you knock somebody out, don't even get, you know, any hits, you're ready to fight the next month.
Dude, did you have a chance to look at his tape? Did you have a chance to prepare for him adequately? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not just about it's not about the physicality only. There's the other mental part of it and the preparation that goes into it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Hey, Ronda Rousey got a beat down. And she's been off for, what, a year now at least?
Well, I think that was very smart on her part.
I agree. So she's saying that she's getting close to retirement, but she's definitely going to get in there at least one more time. So who knows? But anyway, Dream, we got to get over and back to football.
No doubt. As we have Boston College coming into Florida State tonight.
Exactly. So we're looking at the ACC tonight. You got Florida State giving 21.5 points to the Boston College Eagles with an under-over of 48 on the dot. Boston College has improved a little bit this year, guys. They're 4-5. I know they have a losing record, but they're better than they were last year. This team defensively is not that bad. They only allow 19.4 points per game. So the defense keeps them in there. Obviously, their defensive coordinator's gone, but they've still handled their business a little bit. The challenge I see with them is that they're 2-6 in the last 8 games on the road. And when they play Florida State has dominated this affair. Last year was a little bit tighter. It was 14-0 Florida State at the end. But when you look at Florida State, they've won the last 6 meetings in a row. So they're clearly dominating this rivalry here. But what's your thoughts on this game, Dream?
I don't know where Florida State's heads are at. You know, I'm trying to figure that out. Obviously, this season's been a major disappointing season for them. Sure. Of course, they do have athletes that are trying to get recruited by the National Football League. So you expect Dalvin Cook and you expect Francis to get out there and, you know, give it their all. Also, Rudolph to be available. Hopefully, they're in one of those states like I think the Oklahoma Sooners are in. Where let's go out, let's have some fun, let's win, let's play for the fun of the game, and let's play, for our recruitment futures as far as that's concerned. As the season is kind of a wrap as far as they're concerned. I mean, they probably are going to get some kind of bowl, the Meineke Muffler Bowl,
the Potato Bowl.
The potato chip bowl or something. Who knows? But I'm just saying, hopefully that's your attitude. 21 points, dude, though. Ugh.
I don't think they're. I mean,
that's heavy.
Have they blown anybody out this year. I mean, let me just take a look at what Florida State has done this year, and if they've covered a spread, if they've won by that type of margin. I mean, in the last 5 games, they haven't.
Nope.
They actually lost to North Carolina, and they beat Miami by 1 point. But I'm looking at it here. They have, with the exception of Charleston Southern, they have not won by a margin like that all year long. But Boston College is not that good.
They're not.
They know each other pretty damn well, though, Dream.
Yes, they do.
You know, I can't fathom taking the dog in this situation, plus 21.5 points. It's a nice number, being over 3 touchdowns.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, when you look at it here, I mean, clearly Florida State is the superior team and everything on the board here. I just don't like it. I don't like them minus the 21.5 points. I don't like the total. I don't like a side. If this game was on a Saturday card, I wouldn't take it. So why would I take it on a Friday? I'm just not going to get involved in this one. I wish I was, and I wish I had a play for you. But I'm taking my Duke money. I'm going to bring it into tomorrow.
Well, my opinion is I think that you can take this game and you can put it in a teaser situation and take 7 points, get 1 touchdown off of this number, get it to 13.5. So that's actually 7.5 points, and you'll be successful. I also kind of feel like at the bottom of my stomach, Florida State is going to cover the 21. I kind of feel like that, but be safe. Why play the 21? I mean, there's a lot of games on Saturday. You can put this with one other game that's not going to kill you. You can also get involved with some NBA tonight if you're interested in that. I don't think you should get involved with college basketball, even though I'm sure a lot of you will, but that's for you to get involved with. But I do think for some reason I'm kind of leaning that Florida State's going to get this done, and you're probably going to cover the 21 and beat Boston College. But I think for sure if you put 7.5 on it, you're really good.
Well, you know, the talk around the locker room. I mean, you just got to kind of figure out where their psyche is. And what better way to get their mojo back by beating up on a Boston College team. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's tight in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised.
He's having a pretty good season, too, and he looked really impressive in his last game as well. I'm expecting him to probably take over this matchup. You know, Boston College, once again, they allow 106 yards on the ground, so I expect Florida State to have a little success running the ball. But what scares you about Florida State's defense, you know, their defense has not been good this season.
No, they give up 400 yards a game.
No doubt. And that scares you about them. That's why, even though I think you're going to cover that 21, I'm not so crazy. I mean, you guys know I'm not crazy about laying points, period, anyway. But, hey, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much going to do it for that, guys. I wish I had a play on it. But you know what? Hey, listen, you got to be disciplined in this game, period. You know, you don't have to play every night, period. So we got a plethora. I mean, we got college basketball. We got college football tomorrow. We got the NFL on Sunday. We got MMA. I mean, we got everything going on here. So what's the point if you don't like the game?
Everything's popping off and Cats is still at the local grocery stores playing lotto tickets.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. I want to just acknowledge all the veterans. Today is Veterans Day. So a big shout out to everybody that defended our country and gave us our freedom.
And that, my man Terrence Mack, he is a veteran himself, and big ups to you, brother, and want to thank you for whatever you did for us out there. I mean, whatever it was, I couldn't thank you enough for protecting this country and keeping things safe.
All right.
All right, let's move over to the NBA real quick for a second. Need to talk about the Charlotte Hornets. We haven't been discussing that much in as far as basketball is concerned, but this Charlotte Hornet team, I played around with them a little bit last year. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. I played around with them a little bit last year, and it looks like they picked off where they left off last year and are actually trying to take another step and make that next progression in the ladder. Off to a good start this season. I like the way they play in basketball. You know, Kimball Walker, obviously a UConn graduate, so we know a lot about Kimball in Connecticut. Dude, scrappy team.
But you like your boy Frank Kaminsky over there, don't you?
Frank Kaminsky keeping the bench popping.
Right on. So, you know, looking at their roster, I mean, this is definitely an up-and-coming team for sure. And, I know you had a ton of success with them last year, Drake.
Did.
So, looking at their matchup tonight, who they got? They got Toronto coming into town. It's Raptors.
Raptors are coming into town. And by the way, Toronto's off to their generally hot start, too. Toronto, I don't know how they win.
Yeah, right.
I really don't, but they do.
I know. Well, I got a spot here. If you're done with that one, I got a spot that I'm looking at.
Well, the first thing I am done with that. I just want to talk about them. I didn't say I was getting involved with them tonight, but I did want to talk about them and just the success that they're having. And we should keep an eye on them moving forward. I don't know how the last season, the thing with them, the spreads were very favorable to them. I don't know if the line makers have been able to make the adjustments as far as them on the spread is concerned. But you guys take a look at them. We had very favorable lines last year in certain situations where we knew this team was going to come to play. As far as another look, you have to take a look at the marquee matchup this evening, as far as I'm concerned. Knicks-Celtics.
Yes.
Very good matchup, and I'm very interested in watching how this game plays out. I don't know. I don't have a side in this particular matchup, but this game should tell us a lot about both teams.
All right. Sounds good, Dream. And I got to get ready to cut out of here. But one spot I am looking at and possibly getting involved with, it's probably going to be an ugly matchup, but I think the Spurs will get it done over the Pistons in San Antonio. But obviously we got to see who Pop is sitting and who Pop is playing, because you already know how he rolls as far as that situation is concerned.
Definitely.
So that's pretty much it, kid.
What do you got for a spread for that particular matchup?
8.5.
Yeah, I think I kind of like Pop there in that situation. Detroit on the road, Pop at home. Probably,
And San Antonio is 1-3 at home this year.
Exactly.
Detroit is 0-4 on the road. So I think San Antonio's got to get the job done for their fans. So that's it, Dream. Looking forward to tomorrow's show.
All right. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, guys. College football, full slate of it. Dr. Dan will be joining us. We'll get to hear maybe some of his opinions about. Is Dr. Dan joining us for that?
I believe so.
Okay. We'll get to hear some of his opinions about the election and hear what his thoughts are. I want to thank Joseph Del Rosario, Cash Action Bets, Terrence Mack, Shane Whitehead. Like that. I butchered it 100 times. Jim Rome is a douche. Kruk is out there. Terry Bouchard, A.B. Lent, Mo Diggs, Christos, J.C. Rodriguez Jr., Vegas Girl 92661, L.A. Wizkid, Blake Moore, Rick Lopez, Caveman, Wayne Yarbrough, Fast Eddie 72. Gang, I don't have anything going on tonight. I'm probably not going to play. So I'm going to do a little bit of scouting as far as concerned. Take a look at a little bit of NBA, maybe try to check out a couple hockey games. Maybe take a peek at some of this NCAA as far as college hoop. As far as me getting involved, unless something sticks out to me, it'll be an in-game wager. Other than that, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to get ready for tomorrow and this weekend. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with and make the most of each and every day, especially today being Veterans Day, because you cannot get this time back.
Absolutely, Dream. So, guys, it's Friday. Get ready for your weekend. It's going to be a good one, and hopefully we can continue our winning ways like we have the last couple of weeks. We love you to death. Go out there and go easy. Do whatever it is you want to do whatever it is you want to do and get that money. Let's go.